All right. Hello, everybody. KV Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with a quick update on our forecast. Tomorrow is the day that we've been talking about really all week long now, and still our thinking since yesterday has not changed. It is mainly a cold rain for our KVU area tomorrow. However, for some across the hill country, I don't expect major significant icing, but I do think that some minor icing is a possibility. We actually had a winter weather advisory issued for our hill country counties, and that will begin tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So that being said, let's dive into our forecast as we've been doing the past several days. We'll start with just kind of the headlines. Again, our storm system tomorrow, it is mainly a cold rain, especially in the Austin area and for areas along and east of I-35. With that being said, in the hill country, still a spotty wintry mix is a possibility. Now, when I say a wintry mix, in this particular instance, that would mainly mean freezing rain, maybe some sleet mixing in. Slick spots on elevated roads, that's a possibility. Again, not every single road, not even every single bridge, but a few slick spots on elevated bridges, overpasses, stuff like that. Light ice on trees, maybe some light icing on like metal traffic signs. You guys know the drill. Minor icing impacts are possible across the hill country. So this is the biggest update that we have today. We have now a winter weather advisory in effect for Burnett, Llano, Mason, Gillespie, and Blanco counties. Well, this officially goes into effect tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., continues all through the day on Thursday, and it will end 6 a.m. on Friday, although it may be trimmed back early. Again, this is to account for minor freezing rain. Light ice accumulations up to about 1/10 of an inch are possible. I continue to reiterate this. This is not going to be a repeat of the big ice storm that we had back in 2023. In 2023, Austin had 2/3 of an inch of freezing rain. There was more than that over much of the hill country. This is going to be 1/10 of an inch or less. Again, this is minor icing, but especially across the hill country tomorrow. I think it's a good day just to stay off the roads if you can, but if you must be traveling, we do want folks to be mindful. Here's the statewide view. As you can see, our winter weather alerts starting to fill in. So we have our own winter weather advisories. Those go up north of here into the Waco area that you can see, North Texas, DFW area. The pink, that is a winter storm warning. That's where accumulating snow is going to be a bigger factor. Those go into southeastern Oklahoma, into Arkansas, northern Mississippi, into parts of Tennessee, and I think those will continue to expand across parts of the deep south as many areas gear up for impacts from this incoming winter storm. Temperatures outside right now. And we won't spend a ton of time on the currents, but I just wanted to show you this. It's been cold today, but it's been above freezing. It's 40 degrees right now in Austin. It's in the mid to upper 30s across the hill country. As far as any snow or winter precipitation right now, we are starting to see things getting more active back over West Texas. The core of the system, though, it's still over northern Mexico. As we talked about yesterday, it's been trending a little bit slower, but this will dive down over northern Mexico, then get a boot to the east and head here to Texas, bringing winter weather impacts, especially to the North Texas. Here in the middle, in central Texas, mainly cold rain, but we're going to have some issues with spotty icing across our hill country counties. Here's my forecast tonight. Austin drops down to 36 degrees. And I'll tell you, the forecast tonight is a little tricky. It could end up being even a little bit warmer than this in Austin, and then temperatures drop kind of through the day to March, depending on when exactly the rain moves in. But the point is that 36 is not 32. I do not expect Austin to drop down to freezing tonight. Likewise for areas east of I-35. It's cold, but it's not down to freezing. And this is why we don't have big concerns for icing issues along and east of I-35. However, as you go back west into the hill country, some 32s in Blanco, 31 in Fredericksburg, Mason 32, Llano 31. You get some numbers that are at or below freezing, so as this precipitation moves in, and a good chunk of the overnight's going to be dry, but late tonight into tomorrow morning, as this stuff moves in, there could be some icing issues that begin over parts of the hill country. I know that some school districts over, I believe, Burnett County and Llano and Mason County, I believe some of them have already done a delay or a school cancellation. So I think that's wise just to allow this to move in, and we'll be able to kind of see how things are playing out tomorrow morning before too many folks get on the roads. Closer look at the Metro I-35 corridor. Again, most areas will be in the mid 30s. It's cold, but it's not down to freezing. I told you guys, this would be a forecast where 1 or 2 degrees matters. So we go into our model. Again, a good chunk of the overnight tonight is going to be dry. Here's the morning tomorrow. Look at this. 38 degrees in Austin. We have rain showers moving in across the hill country. Again, low to mid 30s. We'll watch as this stuff first moves in. Here's about lunchtime. Steadier, more widespread rain is beginning to develop across our KVU area. And look at the hill country where we have the pink, which shows the wintry mix. Again, in this case, mainly freezing rain, maybe a couple of sleet pellets in there, but I think mainly a freezing rain threat that we're watching. And that mainly just stays across the hill country. Then eventually, even for the hill country, as we get into the mid and late afternoon tomorrow, I think those areas even warm up a little bit. So soaking cold rain is what looks likely for the afternoon into the early evening of Thursday. Look at that. 36 degrees, moderate to heavy rain in Austin. If it was 4 degrees colder, it'd be a very different forecast, but thank goodness it does not look like it's going to be that way this time around. Here is midnight. Precipitation at that point is going to start coming to an end. Tomorrow night, it will end from west to east. Now, I will point this out. This particular model, the graph model, I think it's handled it pretty well, but it has all rain as this precipitation comes to an end. There's some other forecast data that I've been looking at that says, hey, maybe across the hill country, things briefly transition to some wet snowflakes or some sleet pellets as the precipitation ends Thursday night. That's a possibility. If that were to happen, I don't think we'd see huge accumulations or travel issues or anything like that. I just want to point it out to say, don't be surprised if you see a few wet snowflakes or a few sleet pellets as the precip ends, especially for areas west of I-35. Again, the same areas that are under the winter weather advisory, not so much in the metro or for areas east of I-35. Here's 2 a.m. Rain's moving out, and then here is the morning on Friday. All of the precipitation is gone. Austin is at 35. I think most of the metro and I-35 corridor, even behind the precipitation, will be just above freezing, so not a refreeze situation as I see it right now in the metro. However, we'll still need to watch some of these numbers in the hill country, a lot of 33s, 34s. If some spots are still down to 32, especially those kind of more rural outlying spots, there could still be a few slick spots for Friday morning, but then Friday afternoon will be dry and things will warm up well above freezing. That will end any local concern here in our KVU area. Okay, before I show you the hand-drawn map, I do want to show you the ice accumulation off of the graph model, which I just showed you. And look, it's not showing much. It's highlighting maybe a little bit of a glaze, again, a tenth of an inch, maybe a smidge more over parts of Gillespie County than for some areas back west of our western hill country areas, but it is not showing much. Here's our hand-drawn map, which you might be thinking, okay, well, this looks a little bit more aggressive. Even in the areas shaded in pink here, I don't think that everybody in this pink shaded area is going to see a tenth of an inch of freezing rain. But I think that spotty areas in this zone could see some light icing. So again, don't plan on everybody getting any freezing rain at all shaded in the pink, but in this zone, there's going to be spotty areas that do see some light icing. Chilly rain, Austin points east and southeast, but then as you go western Wilco, western Travis, western Hayes, back west into the hill country, that's where there could be some minor impacts from light freezing rain. Again, up to a tenth of an inch is what is possible. Now, I know that freezing rain is just kind of a little tricky. You're like, okay, well, a tenth of an inch of ice, what does that mean? Here's kind of the breakdown. This is obviously generalized, but a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. So look, I don't think we're going to have anybody get a quarter of an inch of freezing rain here, but say we're at a tenth of an inch. Think kind of the lower end of the spectrum here. That is a little light glaze of ice on cars. We've seen that before where it's a little tricky. You got to break the ice to open up the door handle. Bridges and overpasses, again, the elevated roads that we talked about, those can be icy with a tenth of an inch of freezing rain. And then some thin ice on trees and bushes and on the grass and stuff like that. So these are kind of the impacts that we are looking at with this low end event here in our KVU area. Now, we've seen some stuff in the past when you get a quarter of an inch to a half inch, trees sag and break, roads more widespread icy, you start getting into power outages. And then again in 2023, we had 2/3 of an inch of freezing rain. We had like crippling tree damage, dangerous roads, widespread power outages. We don't think this is what's in the cards for us. Spotty areas seeing stuff like this. Cars coated in ice, light bridges, light icing on some bridges, thin ice on trees. That is what we have in the forecast in spots. Again, it's not going to be everywhere in the hill country, but it's a possibility, so just be mindful while driving. Now, for everybody, it's going to be a soaking cold rain. Look at this. We have 1 to 2 inches of rain widespread in the forecast. In fact, some areas like LaGrange could pick up even more than 2 inches of rain. So look, hey, this could work out for us. We don't want a big ice storm. We do need the beneficial rain, though. It's going to be a little bit miserable. Temperatures in the mid-30s, but this is rain that we do need. Here's the snowfall projections off of our graph model. Again, this is just one model, so if you live in North Texas, please check in with local meteorologists there. They're going to have a more detailed update, but the kind of generalized view is there's going to be several inches of snow in the Dallas area. You can see where that snow line sets up just to our north. Here in our K-View area, I don't really have snow in the forecast. Again, could there be a few wet snowflakes as things come to an end Thursday night? Maybe, but I don't think that would be a huge accumulation or anything like that. But I do show this map to point out, obviously a lot of folks here in Austin, Texas, home of the Texas Longhorns, are trying to get up to the Dallas area for the Cotton Bowl, which is on Friday. Hopefully, if that's you, you've made plans to already be up there today ahead of this. We don't want folks traveling tomorrow, certainly as the precipitation is falling. Now, the game's on Friday. By Friday, the precipitation is going to be moving out. It'll already be out by the morning of the Dallas area, so there's not going to be additional snow and ice falling. But if we've got several inches of snow on the ground in Dallas, it could persist and still be causing travel issues through the day on Friday, even after the precipitation. So I think through much of the day on Friday, North Texas travel still is going to be dicey. Again, this is not a concern in our K-View area, but it is a concern if you're trying to drive up I-35 and get to the Cotton Bowl. So just a heads up there, y'all please be very mindful and plan accordingly. Okay, final breakdown. Tonight, cloudy cold. We dropped down to 36. Most of the overnight still dry. There's a 30% chance mainly for rain showers moving in across the hill country. Maybe some spotty freezing rain happening across the hill country late tonight. But more so, it's tomorrow morning where this stuff is starting to move in. It is a 100% chance for rain tomorrow. It is not often that I put 100% on the 7-day forecast, but that's what we have. High temperature in Austin, only 38. Even that might be ambitious. Again, we're kind of just hovering mid-upper 30s through the day. There will be some minor hill country icing. Again, not everywhere in the hill country, but in spots in the hill country. You guys, you know your neighborhood. You know the spots that typically run a little bit colder. Okay, in events in the past, have we gotten the worst of it? Have we fared better? You guys know the drill. If you live in a spot that typically runs a little bit colder, be especially mindful. Here's our 7-day forecast. Still, we have a weather impact alert for tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm like coughing and I have a sore throat, everybody. I've told this all week on the stream. I'm getting over a case of the flu from a few days ago. Feeling better, but still not completely 100%. Okay, weather impact alert tomorrow. It is more so a precaution. Again, some minor icing is possible across the hill country, but in Austin, it's going to be mainly just a cold rain through especially the afternoon and the evening on Thursday. By Friday morning, all the precipitation is out. I don't expect a freeze in Austin Friday morning, so probably not a refreeze situation. We'll watch it, of course. We'll have an update tomorrow once we see how things are starting to play out. 44 for the afternoon high on Friday. Saturday, I do have a freeze in the forecast in the morning in the city, 29 degrees. Saturday afternoon, a high of 56. Sunday, the morning in the mid-30s, 60 for the afternoon high, and then next week maybe a little bit cooler, but looking mainly dry with temperatures in the mid-50s. So that is what I have for you. Again, across the hill country tomorrow, winter weather advisory. Not everybody here is going to see icing impacts, but some of you will. Light ice accumulation up to 1/10 of an inch or less. Light icing on trees, maybe a little glaze on your car, and a couple of slick spots on elevated roads. So y'all be mindful. We'll keep you updated. Of course, still a fluid forecast, so we want everybody to check back with us. I'm going to have an update on KVU News tonight at 10, and meteorologist Grace Thornton will have you updated starting on KVU News Daybreak tomorrow morning at 4:30. Have a good night and stay safe.